else. You'll have 12 minutes presentation. If you, with a 2-minute, we'll give you a 2-minute warning just to make sure you cover the deal structure. We are concerned about exits. We always begin with the end in mind because that's how we make our money.
Of course.
And when we do the Q&A, make the answers short, 50 and to the point, so we can get a lot of questions from the group. They're very, very active today. The natives are very restless. They're interested in this thing. And Nancy is going to ask a lot of questions, I'm sure.
Okay.
If not, Nancy's going to be open. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. As he said, my name is Craig Davis. I'm the CEO of NovaScan. We're an oncology company. We have a new modality for the assessment, treatment, and stratification of cancers. I'd like to start this with a short story, cognizant of the time that we have. Christmas this year, I went back. My mother is from Pittsburgh, and I went to see her. And my aunt was there too. That was a surprise. She lives about 4 hours away, and she looked horrible. And she's 85 years old. And the day before, she'd had Mohs surgery in the top of her head. And I asked her about it, and she complained. She said, it was 3 hours for me to get to the doctor. There was nothing except in the cities. It was a 7-month wait before I actually seen. And I was excised. The first layer was cut. Stages, second layer was cut, third layer was cut. I was waiting the whole time, but they needed 4 for me, and they could only give the local anesthetic 3 times. So the last one, they cut on the top of my head with nothing, and they sutured me with nothing, and I felt horrible. And that's the type of thing that happens a lot in medicine. We solve that and many other problems. So today, cancer is detected, through pathology. It's interpreted. Depending upon the pathologist, it can be a little bit different, and that depends a lot on where you are in medicine. It's time consuming. It's hard to do it intraoperatively. It's expensive. And especially within medicine, it takes years to master. It destroys tissue by definition. It works chemically and biologically. We have a new modality that can be used adjunctively. It complements, it doesn't replace. It's quantitative. It's a number. You'll get the same answer no matter what. Who does it doesn't matter. It's very, very fast and it's ideally done intraoperatively. It's very, very inexpensive, and it's inexpensive in 2 dimensions. Inexpensive in terms of physician time, inexpensive in terms of cost of goods and the devices. It's simple and easy to do, and clinicians or even lab techs can learn to do this in minutes, not years. We don't destroy anything, we work electrically. NovaScan's principal scientific innovation was developed by Dr. Bill Gregory, who was a physicist out of MIT. And he noted that there was one parameter that's derived from impedance that varies usually between normal and cancerous tissue, called the Cole frequency. We have taken this, we've taken it out of academia, we've incorporated it, and we've combined that with artificial intelligence. And combinatorially, we can be very, very accurate when we assess the presence of cancer. We're also rich about it. We can tell you if the cancer is aggressive or not. We have lots of IP around this. We don't impact the tissue in any way. When we do, you can't tell, it doesn't make any difference. You can set up for genetic testing afterwards. Pathology doesn't matter. It makes it easy for us to go through IRB. And we've done lots of different patients and lots of different types of cancer: pancreatic, lung, biliary, skin, breast, esophageal. Every single time, sensitivity has been above 90%. And specificity is also high. We've got close to a dozen publications, all peer-reviewed, and some of them in top journals. We presented in several different industry conferences in different areas of medicine. We think we have a pan-cancer solution. We think this could be a huge company or companies. Our initial focus is on surgical margin. That's the purpose of this raise. That's the purpose of the initial exit. There's follow-on products for biopsy and even in vivo, putting this on the tip of a needle. We've done work there. So our product and the focus of this is called Margin Scan. It is our surgical margin assessment device. And we've chosen to focus initially in skin. The second one is breast, and we'll get to that. So skin cancer, the most common way you excise it, you just cut it out. And the clinician will cut it out, and there will be, either take wide visual margins, which can be just, cause less than best cosmetic, or they will, the face will often take narrow margins, and it will tend to recur. The solution for this, the better solution, is something called Mohs that we spoke of. You're excising just the cancer itself. So if you're not familiar, think of a cancer in your nose, your eyelid, someplace where you're very, very sensitive about preserving tissue. Excise it, you relax it, you will then freeze it, and you will put it on slides, and you'll stain those slides, you'll interpret the stain under a microscope, and where you have cancer in the margin, you'll come back and you'll take more, and you'll keep doing this until you get it all. It works really, really well. But each time you go through this process, it can take an hour. And there's no way ahead of time to know how many times you're going to have to do it. And unfortunate patients like my aunt, you have to do it a lot of different times. They're lengthy, expensive, require specialty training. basically only in American cities and in a city in Melbourne. They're not done anyplace else in the world. NovaScan sort of combines both. You would excise it like you would for Mohs, but instead of doing that, you just place it on the device, you press a button. It takes a couple of minutes. We will scan it. We'll give you a map that will tell you if there's cancer in the margin. If so, we'll tell you where. It's not resource intensive. It's simple. It's straightforward. Do we look for FDA approval next year? That's the point of this raise.
The Mohs surgeon excises the tissue from the locally sedated patient. The stage is then processed by the histotechnologist. Stage is then processed by margin scan. Disposable electrode arrays have QR codes to prevent multiple uses, which can affect the integrity of the signals. Step-by-step instructions for sample preparation are displayed on the device monitor. A thin gel layer ensures good contact between the sensing electrodes and the tissue. The preparation of the tissue and array only takes a couple of minutes. The area of the array in contact with the tissue is easily selected on the computer monitor. The scan might take between 2 to 4 minutes, depending on the tissue size, and the results are displayed as a heat map, which guides the surgeon to the area where cancer is likely present in the margin.
Literally, if there's red, there's cancer in the margin, you know to take more in that place. Simple and straightforward. How well does it work? This has been advancing for sensitivity and specificity in the high 90s. So the correlation is extremely good. It's very, very effective, works well, takes only a couple of minutes. It's essentially like Mohs. What is the value proposition to the Mohs surgeon? We help them economically. I think we also make them more efficient, more effective, but there's a return to them. You can do more patients. Our estimates, from the health economics work we've done, at least 2 extra patients per day. You extrapolate that for the normal business of a Mohs surgeon, 3 days a week doing surgery, 8 patients per day, extrapolates to an incremental close to $500,000 of incremental revenue for each surgeon for each year. Is there demand? It is a local market. Medicine is always a local market. But the mean wait time, if I have a basal cell carcinoma on my face and it's identified, right, to go in and get to see a Mohs surgeon is more than 7 months. So there's lots of demand here. Commercial activity, we have collaborated with PHC, formerly known as Panasonic Healthcare. They have built our device. They are equity holders in the company. They own a company called Apridia. You can see we're launching in the Apridia booth at the American College of Mohs Surgeons annual meeting. It was the hit meeting. This is our first market. Our second market is breast cancer surgery. We were in line to get a grant from CPRIT, which is the Cancer Research Institute of Texas, for $4 million to do the same thing for breast margin. We think this can be a replacement for cryostats. PHC is our partner, but they're one of the largest manufacturers of cryostats in the world. Is there interest across the community? We are backed by some of the luminary dermatologists, past presidents of each of the societies. And they're not just something that said it'd be of interest here. They're not just if we want to do a clinical trial with you. They're all investors here. And most of them are 6-figure investors. And for many of them, this is the only investment of an angel stage they've ever made. So it's backing from the community. There are more cases of non-melanoma skin cancer than there are all the other cancers in the world put together by a wide margin. Mohs is roughly a quarter. We see integrating this into most of the Mohs surgeries today. There's no reason why you wouldn't. We also see making inroads into standard excisions. This can become a big company rapidly. What is the landscape? Our primary competition is frozen section histology that you saw. It is expensive. It is capital intensive. It requires specialty training. We are basically equivalent to that. We are fast, we are simple, we're quick to launch. There are some other technologies in line trying to do the same. I'll put in a couple things. They're expensive to get. They take longer in most cases. They're early prototype. And a couple things, a lot of them, the data is for detection, not margin. That's different. It's easier to do detection as margin. And not a single technology is backed by the category leader in the space. We are. For the commercialization schedule, we've done pilot trials. We've done lots of data. We've done 6 different sites, 3 different surgeons. We have the agreement with PHC, with the arrangement with Apridia distribute this. We've got our beta devices for the trial. We're wrapping up the pilots now. We will start the pivotal trial with this financing. And there's lots of other things we can do here. So it's not just a one-trick pony. We think we get an exit of the first one, but there's lots of things we can do. What's the timeline? You know, I came into this in 2016 and took it out of academia. It was primarily based by, NSF, SBIRs, did initial work in breast. I pivoted it to skin. I raised the additional money. We have strategic engagement with a few companies. We signed the collaboration with PHC. Plus that, so we've built the commercial margin scan device. That's the commercial device that you saw. That's what will be sold. It is a razor blade model. The razor blades are very, very cheap. We've also built a device for biopsy and a needle. And we've introduced AI, which has made this so much better. For this round, we think the last round before we get exit, we'll do a skin pivotal, the commercial launch in combination with a pretty PHC, expansion, and get the initial exit for you and for me. So our team, we're relatively accomplished. Dr. Piazza has been active in biotech and medtech for most of his career. Last company got 16 extra investors. I've been active in early stage. I was involved in the formation of New Era. I was actually exited the Inogen. I was also involved in the formation of OrthoScan and team. Dr. Saris is PhD from Caltech. Part of his thesis PhD was the founding of a company called Genome that was acquired by Becton Dickinson. And the balance of the team is all highly accomplished.
2 minutes.
Where's the ramp? And this is where we see our sales. This is not something I've done. Every single company that comes in here says it's going to soar like this mediocrity. I'm not doing that. This came from Apridia. This is their forecast. This extrapolates it. And we don't carry the burden of the people on the street. Apridia does that. So we can actually become profitable quickly. The ask is $1 million convertible note, $18 million cap, 12% discount, 20% discount. We received roughly 700,000 of it. I have a commitment for another 500,000. We can expand that needed. I'll be flexible and I'll work with you. I've also had comments in the screen that say you were concerned about the cap. Give me a big number and I'll work with you on it. I'm not going to change it for $10,000. So in summary, transformational technology with best-in-class results. We have cost, size, and ease of use advantages over alternatives. IP is a strength here. We benefit all the constituents, the physician, the patient, even a payer. Large medtech companies have gone deep here. You can see what PHC has done. We serve multiple going billion-dollar-plus markets. You just saw the one, but there's others we can do. We're capital efficient. We think there's opportunity for multiple exits here. Thank you very much.
And that was interesting, having recently done Mohs surgery, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, that's a technical term,
Yes.
but,
Wouldn't you like to get out of there in 45 minutes?
I actually got out of there in about an hour and a half.
One layer, one layer.
One cut and done.
You're
When I had a
fortunate.
frecklectomy, it took them a lot longer, and that wasn't even cancerous. Well, why do you only focus on melanomas?
Two reasons for that. Primary reason, if you look at the market, there are 5 million cases of non-melanoma skin cancer, 4 million BCC, 1 million SEC.
But can you do melanoma?
You can do melanoma with it.
So why are you advertising non-melanoma?
That's the big market. Melanoma is 80,000 cases per
I
year.
understand that. I'm just, it just doesn't make sense to me as a marketing kind of guy. But, okay, so we have that. Let's go in the room for questions. Alton, Dr. Alton, question?
Yes.
No, you're gonna pass? Oh, Nancy.
You told me I had to ask a question.
Good.
Hi, Nancy.
And you're gonna take notes. Thank
I'm
you.
not taking that.
Thank
What's
you.
the perfect place? What's your backup plan financially if you don't get your clearance in 2026?
The world is certainly not a perfect place. This has not been a perfect road. Right. The world is certainly not a perfect place. This has not been a perfect road. Right. It's taken us longer than we thought. Right. It was a bit more difficult problem than we thought. I did not anticipate the skin was so heterogeneous. And there is some risk with the FDA. Our data is fantastic, but I don't control them. It would cost incremental core capital if it takes us longer to do it. You could still do that. The raise is for $5 million. I set that up before we did CBRIT. That's a $6 million grant from the state of Texas to allow us to do breast, but it also covers our overhead. So we have lots of room for this. If we raise the $5 million, it took us next year, we could. I don't want that. I want to get out, but I think we're covered.
All right, I'm gonna go Volker and then we're gonna go online to George and then Stephen. Volker?
So the advantage versus MOH as is speed, right? That's and the cost of the material, the machine.
And predictability.
So they're not as predictable.
Well, what I mean by that is if I'm going into a Mohs procedure, there's no way the Mohs surgeon knows ahead of time whether it's going to be one stage like what you had or
Right.
4 stage like my aunt. And so it's not super efficient to schedule. We make it fast and predictable, and an additional stage is initial 3 minutes, not 45.
Second question, and the last one is, you have IP?
We have, it's a strength of the company, we have 20 issued patents and 7 pending. And we also, the IP is a combination of patents on the devices and our algorithms. We don't publish our algorithms, they're proprietary.
Okay, so you have a patent on algorithm?
No, we have
I get that.
lots of patents on the devices. We do not patent the algorithm.
So when is that patent? Because you started in 2016 and time is ticking, so how long still do you have to be not open to this? When are your patents expiring?
So the most important IP that we have that allows us to go at very high frequencies, which sort of made this change and made it all better, was filed last year.
All right, George and then Stephen. George?
Oh, let me dig into that from Volker's question, because I really want to know.
That was a
Is
good
it a-
pun, by the way. Yeah, good pun. Dig into it.
Is it a basic methods patent? What kind of patent is your core kind of an original patent family from, and when does that expire?
So the most important patents are 2 things. There's lots of IP. We're not going to do that within a 12-minute, because it's a lot of it. It's much more than method, right? One thing that would be from it, the most important thing that we're really excited about is that we measure up to 10 to the 7th hertz. We found that region in very, very high frequencies to be a godsend. It's really, really informative. Nobody else can do that. It's hard to do that. You had to develop IP to enable you to not measure the capacitance of the device. And that's probably our most fundamental initiative.
Yeah, so in due diligence, do you have
Yeah.
a need investor?
We have a lot of investors.
And have they looked into the strength of the patent?
They've done all of that, and we're happy to, and everything's open book with you
Okay,
guys.
sorry, go ahead, George.
I agree. That's a due diligence item. Second, your go-to-market. I like that you sort of subcontracted that to a pretty. Have they made a commitment to invest in the go-to-market costs that will get you to 47 million by 2029?
That's mostly their investment, it's not mine. And they're
Right.
investors in the company. They put the commercial device that you saw. I didn't pay for
Right.
that. They did that.
Right. So they really are a strong equity partner. Do they have right of first refusal, or what are their rights to buy you out?
They have nothing. They don't.
Okay.
And I'm happy to get you on the phone with the president. If it's a significant investment for you guys, we can talk to them.
We don't know. You'd
That's
have to
impressive.
make a really good convincing argument to make it a significant investment. I mean, that's just.
That's fair. I like it.
But any other
Thanks.
questions? We're okay? Okay, Stephen, you're up.
Yep. So the science behind the call frequency, like how recognized is that? Do you have any like histopathology societies or whatnot that approve of it or consider it or somewhere getting towards standard?
I don't think anything is standard. We've got lots of publications on it. We've collaborated with pathologists that published on it. But we're using biospectral impedance. The call frequency and it makes that better. Doing AI and doing it at high frequency makes it much better. So impedance has been around for a while. It's got a checkered history. It works okay. It also doesn't, it correlates with cancer, also correlates to level of hydration. The call frequency gets past that. And doing AI with really high frequency gets past everything. So we're
Okay. So
pioneering.
you have a bunch of research backing it.
Lots.
Okay.
Okay, I got a quick question, then we'll go to Jeff.
Sure.
Kate, what about dual cancers? Like if you have basal and squamous in the same, could it still detect it?
It shouldn't be any problem.
Okay, good.
So I think my unease is the history of the company, how long it's been, how many bumps you've run into, how it's already seems like you've spent about 18 million, hence probably the value cap. Is that largely related to issues with the technology and then the product design, and therefore, I guess optimally, from my point of view, would we be coming in after the design's already frozen and those are solved?
So the product is complete. It's done. We have made a couple things that caused us to be less capital efficient than I would have liked it then, and we'll go through those. First, one of them is COVID.
Yeah.
And that basically stopped us in the clinic for 3 years. We couldn't do anything. Nothing I could do about that. And I don't think it's not my fault, right?
When did you join the company?
And I took it out at the end of 2016.
Okay, got it.
The second one is something that I did play a role in. So I pivoted us to skin from the initial breast work. We had some data that it worked well. I saw a couple of things. I saw that we had a very inexpensive device and no one was gonna be able to compete with that. And our data was pretty good. I misjudged the challenges of skin and the level of heterogeneity of the tissue. We solved everything, but it's taken longer than we thought.
So what's the burn rate look like? Like, if the design's frozen, then I assume your burn rate's gonna be reduced, so you really, the use of funds is to get through your study.
Use of funds is the pivotal trial and support for the launch.
Okay.
We have a handful of people.
Other questions? Oh, Alton?
Yes. Well,
With your sensitivity being so high and your accuracy being so high, what is your false positive?
it's nominal. I mean, specificity is 97. So false positive is, less than 2%.
Well, yeah, to get it that high, I mean, that means you may be oversampling, and so you've got to have some false positives.
We really had very little.
Okay.
And it's something
If
else.
they did, what's the effect?
Yeah.
And how would the doctors look at that vis-a-vis doing it the current way of doing it with the biopsy?
You end up cutting more, right?
Right, they would be cutting more if it's a false positive,
You
right?
take it in which it's not catastrophic in this case,
Right,
right?
you don't die because of it.
You don't die
Right,
because of
right,
that.
Well,
We're basically equivalent to most.
Well, and when you say the cost is higher because of this, because of the, I guess, the person, the training. Only pathologists do this, so the training is the same, I mean. the
No,
pathologists, they
I'll
get trained in
respectfully,
pathology.
but I respectfully disagree, and here's why. You're doing this in Mohs, and Mohs surgeon is trained pathologically, and so he has to do both. Right, but he's very dependent upon his histotech. His
Yeah,
histotech
yeah.
does the work and preps it. He'll typically have 2 histotechs per surgeon. If one of those histotechs is sick, he has to cancel out the patients. There's a big dependency that we don't have.
Sylvia?
Yeah, just, what do you do with the machine? What's the revenue model?
The revenue model is almost all disposables, right? So the machine, the ASP for that is $20,000. But PHC is that literally talked about giving it away and making the money on the disposables. Disposable, which we didn't have time to get into on this, our disposables are 2-layer PCBs, very simple, with proprietary stuff on the background that, in the back end, that we developed that increases the signal to noise ratio that makes it work so well. Think of a disposable cost of goods for a medical device less than $10. And our business model has the ASP per electrode at $100, $180 per patient.
The
All
electrodes are disposable.
Yeah, the electrodes are just, you can only use it once.
You got it, okay.
It won't work twice.
All right, any other final questions? None online?
You guys have a great reputation. I'd love to work with you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, the $18 million, we get a TCA discount from what I understand from 20%, what was the number? 20%?
New York discount.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a New York discount, another one, half of the other one. It's like the Lancey Street. Yeah, Volker.
One more
Can you-
question.
Yeah, can you tell me again, who did the forecast? You said Epredia?
Yes, Apridia is a division of PHC. They're the cancer diagnostics division of PHC.
And they calculated your forecasts and they made the
We
numbers.
took their numbers for units and disposables. And
Okay, so you took their model.
And it just monetized it.
Yeah, let me ask you, how many other rounds of financing are you gonna have and what's your exit potential value?
So I'd like to be able to exit in this round. Yeah, I want to be
Oh,
done
exit
with
in
this.
this round,
It is flip it. The margin scan is done.
got it. And what would be the exit about? If you mention it,
But if I own that, then I'd be the smartest one in the room, and I'm certainly not. But target between 100 and 150 million dollars
okay, that's fine. All right, any other final?
in 3 years.
Sold to American. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we need somebody to take notes for this one. Was that a raised hand, JJ? Oh, you were just checking your glasses. Anyone interested in doing the notes? Online, anyone interested?
Volker raises his hand.
Volker,
I'll do it.
you'll do the notes? Okay, appreciate that. And they
you.
want, if no one, anyone, you're doing it also? You're gonna share it?
No, I'm just saying goodbye to the guests.
You raise your hand, and it's like putting a red bull, flag in front of a bull.
Thank you guys so much.
All right,
Bye.
thank you so much. All right, so we're actually,
She's Italian, so we all were friends.
yeah, we're actually a couple of minutes ahead of schedule, which is interesting. Forma Structures is next. She's gonna be coming in line. If anyone wants to do Data Unite, let me know.
I can do that for you.
You wanna do it? I appreciate it.
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to? If you don't want to, I'll do it.
No, I
Oh, holy smokes, we have a bidding war.
don't.
No, I'm not. If you're doing it, I don't, because I'm
I'm doing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Forma Structures, it's a bidding war between Ali and the.
No, it's not bidding war. I'm gone in 3
Hey,
days.
since you don't have anything to do, why you didn't take?
I would do an overscan if you don't want to.
Okay.
Because I'm interested in these kinds of devices
I
anyway.
never really did it.
You want me to do it? Okay, then good, you're doing Forma Structures. Well, you can't do this. Right?
We have to go back to Nancy. Everything well, packed back. You overtake me.
All right.
Don't sit on that. We have a video too.
Yeah.
I will move that.
All right, so Jenny, welcome.
Thank you. My husband should be in partner. He should be walking in. So hi, thank you guys
Hi.
for having me.
Well, you hopefully will do very well. You're the third in-person person today, which is great.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I feel lucky to get to be here and talk about it. I think it's much nicer. for
I hate
people
this.
to have that. Yeah, oh, this is always a
That's
conversation.
it. I'm not even touching that one.
Fair. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit.
No, I mean, I can go in a couple of different directions. That's it.
Are you starting with that or is that gonna be later on?
We might start with it just so people maybe have.
Okay.
basic
All right, so here's the
understanding.
situation today.
Okay.
All right, you get 12 minutes of presentation.
All right.
And I'll give you a 2-minute warning before the end, just to make sure you get to the deal structure and the exit,
Okay.
you know, when they ask. Then we'll do the Q&A. Q&A will also be 12 minutes. Lot of questions that are coming out from the crowd, which is really good. So make the answer short, pithy, and to the point. And then you're all set.
Okay.
So
One-
whenever you want to start.
That video is ready to go.
Okay,
That's what you
great.
want to start with?
Just one quick question. So we do have our head of product is on the call.
That's all right.
If he wants to be able to speak.
Yeah, control it, but what we would like to really see is one person doing it all. And if there's a question that comes up that the product person would that are able to answer, then you say to whoever it is, you know, answer. That's just a better way of keeping it flowing.
CD?
All right, whenever you start.
Is that your head of product or the CD?
It would be Mike Grace.
Mike Grace.
Oh. I have someone trying to join me on CD.
Kristoffer,
and I have your name.
Yep.
One more screw.
The CD is not.
I mean, that.
Okay, no CD is well. Yep.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay.
CD is. Okay, all right, everyone. Okay, do you want to start now? I feel like there's
Yeah.
like.
Okay.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Sayek. I'm the co-founder and head of business development for Forma Structures. This is my husband and co-founder, Vito Sayek, who is the CEO and heads up all of our sales for Forma Structures. For the past 5 years, we've had a distribution company in the construction sector in that of foundational screws. So this is what are used to instead of pillars for building houses, ADUs, fences, decking. We have a company that we have been selling a branded product from Sweden for screws. We've worked with one of the biggest distributors in the construction space, working with Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. And we found that we were having a problem getting to scale. And so we've worked with our head of product, who's on the call watching right now, and developed an ecosystem that's far more advanced than anything that's on the market that does smart installations for foundations with structural integrity and certification, including remote engineering. So this is just a quick snapshot. If anyone isn't familiar, I think I'm hitting play. Okay, perfect. this is just a quick snapshot of just some of the projects that are done on these. There's no sound on this one right now, but that's okay. Right, so again, this is just to give an insight as to what some of these do, right? So oftentimes if you're not from construction or don't maybe understand the building process, it's smart to understand, you know, the basics, of course, what these can offer. So we can go into the presentation now. I'll hand the mic over to Nito. Just to set the tone, what we'll do today is quickly talk through the product and why it's so important, and then we'll talk through the strategy. We know we probably have like 10 minutes left.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, so obviously the reason why we're here, why we created this product is we got a lot of pressure from a company called Boise Cascade that we've been working with for the past 2.5 years. The problem we're solving is that the building techniques today has not changed at all. So it's still digging a hole, pouring concrete, this is not a new technology. It's just we took it and we kind of created a far more advanced system that, you know, it's way easier, very adaptable for contractors. So today lead times are extremely long, labor gets very expensive, concrete is really expensive. It's manual testing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a bottleneck. So introducing Forma, which today we can actually do full real-time data on all of this, so we can install at the same time. The screws will actually become geotechnical probes. So we can read the soil. We can deliver a report that has the GPS location, depth, what kind of soil you guys are dealing with. So it's pretty much a full automatic compliance, and we can pass this through any sort of inspection. Compliance, which is a big part of the bottleneck, and you'll see this real quick. With Forma, we can instantly turn the installation of a geotechnical probe / the ground screw into immediate validation, which will get past all inspections. It ties back to all the certifications in terms of AC 443. Every screw today logs the torque, soil depth, GPS location. The data goes from the installer, which is the machine, through an app. It will then automatically generate and create a report that will pass all the inspection, even something that's terrible here is dealing with the process inspection. So AC 443, obviously certified by ICC. Our entire process is certified, not just the product. So from installation, validation, and optimization of everything, this is instant certified. So I keep going back to that, but this is like one of the biggest problems in construction today with footings. It is a very slow process. So AC 443, why this matters and why this is so important. It's the new standard for foundations. Most competitors today are working on something called AC 358, which is a very, very old report. I think it's written somewhere. AC 443, a lot of people claim they have it. They don't. We're the only product today on the market that can close the entire engineering loop and push this through inspection. So we are technically certified from install through. So just to talk a little bit about competitors, American Ground Screws, they've achieved the ESR, which is an ICC as well. All the compliance is still manual. It won't, with the new restrictions that are coming, it won't pass inspection. You're gonna have to do all engineering manual calculations, soil testing. Crinner, extremely heavy machinery. Ours a handhold device that you can drive the screws in with. Helical piles, a techno metal post, it's partial compliance. There's no automation, you can't close the engineering loop. And then obviously concrete, which is extremely slow, wasteful, it's not compliant, and it's extremely labor heavy. It's a slow process today to get footings approved. So no one can really provide the compliance that we can, and we do it immediately as the second you put these screws into the ground. This just kind of shows where we're at, Forma. So we do the installation, all the torque logging, the real-time validation, it auto-generates the report. You can immediately submit the permits with inspector access. He will get information directly from the job site. And then this kind of just talks to what traditional ground screws can do. So around 2 weeks to 21 days. Traditional concrete is somewhere around 7 to 28 days, depending on, you can be hit on with weather, et cetera, et cetera. You have to do re-inspection. We do it immediately. So just going into products real quick. So we kind of call it the Forma universe, which is a closed loop engineering system. It's based upon data tracking with an app platform, smart ground screws, this is one of them, and then also a grid-based structured framework. So that is a prefabricated framing network. It's basically replaces pressure treated wood that can be used on land, in water. It's fire code today, so a lot of states, I think there's 12 states now that basically said everything needs to be fireproof to be able to build because of one parts, etc. This is the installer. It's lightweight, portable. Contractor can basically drive around with it in the back of a car. We've done some stuff with Caltrans where today they only need one guy to go out and start replacing signs and posts, where normally it's 2 trucks, 8 guys, and it's extremely slow process. This machine is self-leveling. It has GPS positioning, which include real-time mapping. The torque reading absolutely, completely, and instantly verifies all the the load capacities on the screws. So basically saying this is how much you can load these screws. The screws are today, just to mention, are coming in all different sizes and extendable. So this is a 34-inch screw. You go up to 98 inches in one piece, and then extendable ones. So water installations.
Same machine?
Same machine, yeah. And then, so the screw, all the screws will have an RFID chip built into them. And what that does is the machine and the screw needs to do a handshake before you can install. Meaning, you can't just go on gray market and buy knockoffs or something like that. The RFID chip will also log all the data from the machine. So 20 years later, if someone doubts how the installation was done, you can go up, scan the screw, get all the data. The app basically takes all this data, turns it into the full report that you can then hand over to inspection. Support categories, we just mentioned this. This is the modular deck and dock framing system. Bracket assortment, so any sort of bracket you can mount directly on top of the screw. If it's 4x4, 6x6, 8x8, 12x12, doesn't matter, it can be directly mounted. Ground links, which is a smaller version of these screws, is something that you can install with just a regular screw gun. Great for tie downs, garden projects, mailboxes, etc., etc. They can load up to 2,500 pounds per screw, so it's still really, really highly rated. And yeah, that was it. I was just
Time check, where are we at?
You're basically at 2
minutes,
minutes
40
and 30
seconds.
seconds.
Okay, we're gonna go really quickly for this.
So you need the deal structure and the go-to-market.
Absolutely, okay, so, we already have a distribution agreement with Boise Cascade. They do about $7 billion a year in construction. They sell to over 12,000 retailers, including Home Depot, Ace Hardware, BFS, Lowe's. Year one, they're already forecasting $50 million of revenue of our product, just based on the demand that they saw with the distributed product that was a much less sophisticated system. We've been pre-lining our product with them. They've been giving input as to things that they would like to see, functions and features. So they're excited about this. They had initially hoped that they could invest in us, although Boise Cascade has never invested in a company before. So for them, that could take 6 to 12 months to get that approved with their board, which is why we're here with you guys, right? The TAM, just for decking. So Boise is obviously selling materials across multiple verticals and building. Decking is one where they have a very strong penetration rate. They sell about $500 million in decking, just of Trex branded decking. They estimate that they can easily adapt 10% of that sales into our product. And when you look at the total market, quick, I know I don't have a lot of time to get into this. The TAM just for decking alone, there's between $13.2 and $14.9 billion in decking materials sold last year. Based on what we know on the ratio of what Boise's penetration rate is and where we're at. About 16% of that decking sales can be converted to our sprues, including the substructure, the decking boards used for substructures. And we can get into that later when it's more time. Looking at the financial projections, we have gone with a very safe year one forecast, meaning that we know that Boise's excited. We know that they're ready to roll with this, but we're also realistic. And so we're being very cautious in our planning. The numbers you see for year one are reflected on the order cadence that we saw from their distribution when we had a distribution agreement before, right? So we applied that. So the revenue you see right here is a mix of screws and installers right now. So we understand the ratio of what they've been purchasing at. And the total cost of goods here, of course, is that mix of those two categories. One thing to note is these are the margin that you're showing here is actually a landed margin. So we calculated a high tariff rate for the screws that are coming from China right now. We can also produce them in the US, but right now they're still cheaper coming in from China. The machines and installers are being manufactured in the US, so we don't have a problem there. But we put in a 50% tariff rate, knowing that it'll be most likely much less than that. We wanted to make sure that we were covering everything right now. So this margin right now will end up being significantly higher, right? Year two, which most likely will be closer to what our year one you'll see is still really strong. Again, based on this.
What you're asking, we're running out of time.
Okay. We're going there. So we're asking for 2 million with 20% equity.
And what is 2 million for 20%? So you're basically 10.
Yeah.
Right? And exit
Exit
strategy.
strategy, yep.
Get 25 and be done.
Exit strategy, Boise Cascade is already mentioned doing, interested in acquisition. There's also other branded products in the space that acquire lots of brands like ourselves.
Yeah, Graham put on the table 25%, so it's only 8 million. Would you take it?
Right, the second, we have to go over it. I feel like I'm on the first one go. Not aware of this.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, all right, we're ready.
So we're into Q. We're into Q&A. Okay.
I'll put some in.
I'm sorry. Online, I can't see. Is that George?
Yeah.
George, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I love this.
Okay. And then Nicole.
So two questions. Sourcing. It seems like the rate limiter for you is, can you make enough of these quickly enough to meet the order cadence that you say that you may have for year one and year two? Can you? And do you have backups in case your suppliers can't manufacture as quickly as you think that they can?
So I wasn't able to get into it, but our head of product has 35 years in architectural manufacturing, including SoFi Stadium, Buffalo Bill Stadium, multiple embassies. And so he's overseeing multiple factories. We have the one in China. I think they're able to do 20,000 to more of screws a month. Our machines, 200,000 screws a month. And our machines, we could do 200 a week out of the gate. That said, when we see demand ramp up, we're able to easily move production lines elsewhere.
Okay.
And just a quick question on GPS. I thought that was like 3 meters or, like some amount that matters if you're trying to blow up a tank, but you guys seem to have an incredible amount of accuracy using GPS. How do you do that?
That would be a Mike Graves question if Mike is able to jump on.
There's actually, George, just for you, but there's also a ground penetrating sonar built into the machine, so we can scan the ground before we drive these in.
So like a fish finder, so you know what's below the surface.
All right. So we're gonna go Volker, Ray, Vipul, Ned, and Lisa.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Quick question. How important is it to have a GPS coordinates for a deck? Is that a requirement? I'm not an architect, so it sounds great, but is it necessary to have that?
It is one of the key factors to get you through the entire closing the loop for the engineering and the passcode. Yeah, for compliance.
Decking
Even
in a house.
And for houses as well.
houses.
Yep, so that the structural engineer, that they know exactly where it's being built.
Second question, have you had any contact with Fisher International?
Sorry.
Fisher International. They're the biggest manufacturer of screws. That's why I'm wondering, and they might be interested in something like that, just as a.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, Ray.
Yeah, a couple quick questions. On the side deck, you're in sales and you're in business development. Where is the CEO or CFO or
Mito's actually CEO as well, and so CFO, we've actually vetted someone through CFO Hub, that will start as soon as we're funded.
Okay, got it. Just, it was on the deck.
Yeah, not on the deck, but there will be someone in place for that.
Yeah, if I was like brokers and CFO and those screws.
Before they. I don't wanna, gives the bid here. I'm just looking after you, my friend.
Yeah.
Can I finish, Casey? Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
So the good question is, you asked for $1 million is to, because that you seem to have everything done already. But it's for $1 million to, the $2 million to build the product, to
Build the
fund
product.
the.
Yeah, essentially, we're at the point now where we're ready to build inventory and marketing assets, and that's really, the last slide, you probably weren't able to see, and I'm sure you guys will get to this deck popular too, is we really have a sales team in place, with Boise Cascade being in the US. Obviously, as we scale to other markets, we'll need to look at sales team as well. But the main thing right now, that investment is going into inventory, which will generate revenue right away, and marketing assets. So everything, content, product knowledge, videos, all the stuff that needs to make sure that all the contractors, all the retailers, and all the code officials are aware of what the product is.
I'm gonna go to Lisa in 1 second, but how many people on your team, operational team right now?
There's,
Full-time employees?
there'll be 5 employees full-time, and then, an R&D team of, 7 people that are.
Can I just stick something in real quick?
Yeah.
So having Boise as a partner for us, they have 38 autonomous branches. Each branch has their own sales team. They have their own division that deals with the Home Depots, the Lowe's. They kind of want to handle their customers and do all the sales operations.
But you need people within you to control the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the channel.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, and then we'll go to the pool.
What, sorry if I missed it, but what is the cost of your solution versus the existing or the competitors?
I mean, it depends on which one you compare it to, but for a ground screed compared to concrete, for instance, I'm gonna say you're probably, depending on the scale of the project, but if it's just for a deck, you're probably looking at a 50% cost saving.
Okay, so what about for a foundation?
Well, depending on, I get a little bit technical, because if you're talking about a house foundation or for a deck, et cetera, because it's very dependent on how much concrete compared to a pylon or a screw that you would use, but
Let's
we
say,
can
just
get.
say for a house as an example.
For a house, I'm gonna say you probably cost savings, I'm gonna say around 50 to 60%.
Okay. And
Plus the time.
can your solution be used in conjunction with an existing, so like for a repair, or is it just for new construction?
No, it can be used together with an old, and we're actually doing stuff up in LA where the fires were now, where they still have a concrete plate. That's the only thing that's left. We can install screws through the concrete by coring out hole, and they can build structures from the screws, but it would also secure the soil and the ground around it. Any sort of new construction, you can frame this into the foundation. You can tie rebar into them, put them in bottom of swimming pools to prevent the crackling.
They can also be, reused too, so for anyone putting onto the deck, temporary structures.
Hold on.
Thank you, Lisa.
A lot of interest here.
Cool.
Okay, so what is year one for you? You
Um,
show 2 revenue streams, year 1 and year 2. What is year 1?
do you want me to go back to the slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it 26, 27, 28? That's my question.
Oh, which year?
Year
Oh.
one.
What year is
1
it?
year.
What year is year one? Is it a 12-year from today? Is it 12 months
As
from
soon as we
today,
get-
or is it
it's 12 months.
2025, 26?
It's 12 months from when we have funding.
Okay, can
I have one quick follow-up. Okay. And the data tracking.
Yeah.
Is it only during installation, or could I track the data 2 years after the soil movement has happened under my home?
You could technically track it a couple of years later, because what we're doing since they're being basically a geotechnical probe, we will store the soil data, which also becomes extremely valuable for other people building in the area, especially when you come into like larger construction.
RFID and GPS will be active
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
years to come?
exactly. Yeah.
All right, next, we got a lot more questions. I'm gonna go to Med.
I think you answered the question, but so this is used in lieu of a concrete foundation. You don't need concrete anymore, you just put these screws in.
Correct.
And that's acceptable in all the cities now?
Correct. Yeah,
And,
that's why the whole engineering loop is so important to be able to push it through all core codes and
And
municipalities.
do you have any idea when you're gonna exit and what price?
This guy's doing it right, that's what we're hoping, you know, we.
Yeah, not exactly the answer,
Boise,
although-
Boise, you know, we exit, it really did not get this ramped up before we exit.
What would you sell to Boise right now? How much would you sell your company to Boise if they said, I'll make an offer?
I don't know if we would sell right now.
Okay.
Well, they're the ones who are gonna sell you screws, right?
Is it? Revenue, time, you have any idea what are
You know, it's been between.
American, but it crossed my mind, if your margins are that good, maybe you make it in America anyway.
We will, and we,
For
yeah, and we have, you know,
marketing purposes.
and I think, you know, for some of our customers and some of the sub customers of Boise Cascade, we will. And especially as we look at military when we have to like with that, but, you know, we have the option to do both right now, just for price purposes. And the contractors right now that have been purchasing the distributed screws didn't have any issue with the pricing. And so we honor that pricing even with a more sophisticated product.
All right, we're gonna go, we got a lot more questions, we may go a little long. We have Nick, then Glenn, then we're gonna go to Nancy, who's gonna take notes on this one. All right, no, Nick and Glenn, go ahead.
So Lisa asked a question a little bit earlier. Essentially, American Earth anchors, it's the same system. It's just got a driver on it and it provides the data. What's the difference in pricing if the two are lying at lows next to each other? What's the difference in pricing between like for like screws, those systems? And then I got a follow-up question.
Very similar pricing, other than we are offering a way more sophisticated system. There's nothing, like I said before, you can't compete with us today. There's nothing like it on the market. I would fully close the engineering loop and push this through any municipality or any code official.
All right, but the two screws lying on the shelf would look similar.
Will look very similar, other than the RFID chip on our screws.
So a lot of this is dependent, Boise Cascade, no one's questioning them. They're, you know, their credibility, they're huge. They're big, like one of the bigger lumber suppliers in the US.
Right.
You mentioned earlier in your presentation that they came to you and they were looking for data and they were looking for the system. Who has this relationship with Boise? Which one of you developed that relationship and why is it so modified? Because your whole business model is predicated on that relationship.
I think they actually reached out to us from the beginning, and then we spent the last 2 years together with them. With Boise's branded team, there's a gentleman named Jeff Comiskey that is head of the branded team. He runs all the tracks, sales, etc. He has become not only an extremely valuable partner, but also a really, really good friend of ours. And
You said Trex? Trex, yeah. So the Trex decking product and that sort of thing, that he's the guy, is that owned by Boise? Trex?
Boise, no, it's not owned by Boise, but they sell about $600 million worth of Trex decking a year.
So we work with the branded product team within Boise Cascade. They're a very small team that oversees all the branded products for 38 branches. As Mito mentioned, we've spent the last 2.5 years, we put all of our revenue from our distribution company went back into supporting this customer. So we've gone to all the regional trade shows, International Builder Show. Everything we have has been to essentially generate leads for Boise Cascade. And during that time, we've developed a really great relationship with them to the point where they have been pre-lining this product the entire way, and they're excited for us to bring it to market.
All right, we have two more people. Nancy, you want to have a question? And then Sylvie, you may have the last one. Glenn, did I miss you? Okay, we'll go Glenn, then Nancy, then Sylvia.
So, you talked about being able to drive through concrete, right?
Excuse me.
You talked about you being able to drive through concrete. How about rock?
Depending on what kind of rock you're dealing with. Same with concrete, you normally need to core out the hole where you can drive the screws in. If we use the smaller product with groundings, they can actually penetrate both asphalt, certain types of rock. The beauty of this, if you actually have a light layout, if you're digging doing concrete, you'll run into a rock. It will basically have to blast that thing out. Where with the screws, you can immediately pull it out with a machine. You can change it, and you can kind of just restructure how you're building.
Okay. And then you focused on your financials for U.S. market. Why not
global?
We will. So year one, absolutely. So we're already having conversations with distributor in Canada and one in Mexico. It was just that we happen to have tangible numbers for the US market, and that's why we know them. So those numbers are very conservative based on what we will most likely.
Mexico is a huge one for us as well. We just did a.
We need to be able, we have 3 more people and we're gonna have to make these really quick questions and answers. Nancy?
This is a new product. Have you thought about product liability insurance? And can you talk, if you do, can you talk a little bit about what you've done?
Yeah, so this really isn't a new product. We've been, like I said, we've been selling the product we were distributing for the last 2.5 years. We've done all the insurances, all the product liabilities, and to be able to launch with Boise, we have to have all that in place, obviously.
And the ICC reports, the ICC certification validates everything. So they do all the product testing for it, and they publish those reports.
All right, Sylvia, you have the second to last question. Just Frank wants to let-
So you said you have been selling this, what is your revenue right now?
So before, when we were under the distributed model, so we obviously had much less margin, and the whole issue with that is that we couldn't get product, right? So they were late on machines, they could only produce about 10 machines a month versus 2.
How much revenue do you have in 2025 to date?
So 2025, we haven't been selling to date.
Okay,
Yep.
that's
So 2024 we did about 3 million, and that was without any product.
Wow.
being on it.
And another question, so the RFID, does it need a battery? It goes forever?
The RFID, I don't know the exact technical or how long the RFID
How long it
lasts,
is?
but I know it's like,
I think that would be a
Decades and
Mike
decades.
Graves question, but yeah, it lasts.
it's a very long time now.
That's a
I can
good
get back to you on the
response.
exact. Yeah.
All right, Frank, you have the last question.
Are there any patents involved in any part of this?
Yes.
Everything has been,
You didn't
has
mention any
patented.
patents that you.
I think we maybe it was in.
Well, how many patents do you have?
I actually don't know how many in total. There are multiple patents.
Yeah.
pending. So our head of product has over 4 dozen patents awarded to him across nanoscience, cryptology, AI. And so the entire system was done through the lens of patentability, right? So we've already filed patents and we should be awarded them we're hoping
They're all
for early
pending, yeah.
2026.
Okie dokie, great job. I mean, a lot of interest in that.
Sorry.
room. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I'm looking at that, them saying my wall board, that would be a big wall board.
If you see the here, you may have it.
I'm afraid to. To be honest. All right, Nick, would you be willing to take the notes on this one? Sure. Perfect, I appreciate that. And we do have Novascan. I'm taking the notes, but if anyone's interested, you're welcome to take it from me, Nancy. All right, great job. All right, so we're into.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. You want this? No, you can take, sure.
Okay, thank you guys.
Looks like it goes in the end of the bazooka. All right, sponsoring guest intro. I'm gonna start with Grant. You have a guest?
Ed Chan back here. We've known each other in and out for a number of years. Talked recently on another front, ended up finding out as he was describing the transition of his own business, operational, quite a successful business, and employees are doing most of the work now. He's got some free time and some acquired wisdom and insight. So I thought angel investing could be for him, and he was really excited what we're doing here. So you can introduce yourself, Ed.
Yes, hello, my name is Ed Chan. I live in Irvine, California. I've been in the food wholesale distribution business. We go to the Asian restaurants, mostly Panda Express, PF Chang's. Thank you. You're putting my kids through college one day. So we supply all of them. Over 2,000 products. You would know what sriracha is. The real one with the rooster, the red velvet. We're the largest distributor of sriracha in the world. It's the largest for our company globally. And the 3 facilities, which I will own, and also I'm looking for a 4th. And I've been growing the business to the point where around at 50, 51, got a little more time in margin. Wanted to do a little give back. I got involved with UCL's Venture Accelerator as well as a new venture here at UC Irvine. That got me in connected with Grant. And then I said, Grant's like, I've heard of TCA before, just didn't have the time and capacity for it. Now I said, let's take a quicker look. But I'm really most interested in meeting all the brain power here because I don't know what I don't know. And I figure the more decks that I see, the best things I took from notes are your wisest questions. The questions you ask.
It's a smart group of people. They
Yeah.
use ChatGPT to come up with this.
Can I just answer? That's why I showed up.
Yeah. Anyway, well, you know, and you met men, of course, right?
I'm not.
Well, you need to meet men.
Yeah, okay.
Men, I mean,
Even the membership, welcome.
yeah.
Sign you up.
Yeah. All right, the second one we have is Joshua. You asked a good question before. Joshua is recommended by Startup Steroid.
Yeah, so my name is Josh Hill. I'm from Huntington Beach, California. I ironically work for Intuitive Surgical on M&A a little earlier on. And I work in clinical sales and consulting space for that organization. I just finished up my MBA over at USC, and there were so many things that I learned there that I love, so many different aspects of business that I'm very interested in. And being in this kind of a capacity really like stimulates my mind. Very interested in furthering my acumen in this space as well. And yeah. So
You know, we have a special deal. My daughter graduated USC. She did quite well off my payroll. But it's a special deal. If you join today, you get a $10 Starbucks card. And you know me, right? All right, and then you know Nancy and the other people too, right? Yeah, we're gonna make sure you know everybody, yes. All right, the next one, I don't know, I'm gonna probably screw up this name. Ritika?
Ritika, she did a full argument.
Oh, okay, and Nick Crane. Nick, there you are.
How's it going, guys? So I was on the opposite side, trying to raise money with you guys a few years back, and then recently joined as an investor. So made my first deposit and glad to be a part of the team and invest on the side by the same way that you guys invest.
How are you, man?
Good.
Yes,
I
I
know.
remember.
So you're a new member?
New member.
Would you like to do Novascan?
No, thank
you. All right, well, welcome on board, seriously.
He was gonna offer you 5 minutes. You'll get
$20.
$20.
So I wanted to just make everybody aware, I'm sure you are, that we have a lot of sponsors. Westcliff University, we really appreciate them being a sponsor of ours for several years. We got our running back, Ron Johnson here from the New York Giants.
There he is online.
Yeah, Ron, welcome. I don't know if Barry's here online.
There he's online.
Barry, you want to say, you can say a couple words in a second. I just want to go through the sponsor list. MDB Capital, Pivotal Law. We have the Octane Launchpad SBDC, Witham Siege Consulting, One Digital, CTI, which is a new platinum sponsor of ours, UCIBL, PMGC, and of course, last but not least, is Silicon Valley Bank. So this is a time when the sponsor can say something, and we'll go to Barry first. Barry? Maybe.
Very muted.
Barry?
I know. I want to welcome everyone to Westcliff University. It's always a pleasure to host TCA Ventures on our campus.
That was it?
That's
it. Usually you have a whole bunch of stuff like, you know, another meeting.
You told me I only had a minute. I listened to everything you say, David.
Yeah, you'd be the only one probably, but welcome. And we really do appreciate, you know, the relationship with Westcliff over the years. It's been really phenomenal. And just to let everyone know, I know I'm taking some time away from break, but Westcliff has worked with JJ, Jethro, and I in developing a better AI product for use in our triage and due diligence. So we're looking forward to implementing that. Okay, well,
Jim's also online from Westcliff. Thanks, Jim. Just want to make sure I acknowledge you.
Yep, welcome back. And anyone else, any of our other sponsors?
I don't see anyone.
So it's a good opportunity. We ought to make sure they try to show up. It's a great opportunity for them, you know, to meet with the people and talk and, you know, build their awareness. All right, with that in mind, we're going into a break. Please be back in like 5 to 7 minutes. And then when we do our discussions, make sure you vote. We're going to limit the discussions to each company to about 5 to 7 minutes max. We're not going to have it meander around, so we can have a good, what's the matter, Volker? You like talking?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my shit. Got him.
Touche.
Touche. Probably the RFI feedback.
Some of them are good, but then you're like, basically relative.
It has to be like that machine. Maybe that.
Yeah.